successful people, all sharing their stories of success and the ups and downs of risk-taking.
Up in Your Business with Carrie McCoy. Saturdays at 2 and Sundays at 10 on 101.1 The Answer.
The news never stops, and neither does your schedule. That's why we're here, keeping you up to date with all the biggest stories of the day. We're 101.1 The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk.
Welcome to the Car and Truck Doctor Show, brought to you by Bumper to Bumper and your local Bumper to Bumper certified service centers.
Yeah, it's a Thursday morning, kind of interesting coming to work today. We had one of our local homeless people hanging out in front of the building today. And as I was sitting in the car, I typically pull in and I take about 15 or 20 minutes to check the news sites and things to see what's going on that I should know about. And I'm hearing somebody yelling at a dog.
No, Dave, they was screaming. He was screaming.
Well, okay, well, I used the word yell, but you're right. He was screaming. And he was screaming at a dog, except that there was not a dog there. And
what?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little early for that action.
So yeah.
Right.
So anyway, I walked over towards Duck was in his truck, and I walked over, and then we started walking towards the building, and I don't know what he said to me exactly, except that you don't want any of me.
Yeah, he was just mouthing.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what he was doing, and I'm get off the air today. I'm gonna notify the cops.
Well, he was here last night when Doc and I left, and I let Doc know. I said, "Careful! I had to walk by a homeless guy standing there staring at the street." And then I sat in my car and I waited to make sure Doc got out okay.
Yeah, he
I'll
was
protect
hollering
him.
and screaming.
No, I'm kidding. But he went and laid down on the bench back there. And then it started raining, so I'm pretty sure he slept back there all night.
Oh yeah, that's where he come from this morning.
Yeah, he came from around there.
Yeah.
Over here on the right side of the building.
Yep, under that umbrella where they smoke back there.
So anyway, I'm gonna let Lynn know.
I've seen him walking up and down the street all the time. I don't think he had shoes on either.
Anyway, I have no idea. I don't know what his life has been like, but you're not supposed to be doing that kind of stuff.
No, and you don't freak people out.
Start threatening people.
Yeah, you might holler at the wrong dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he looks kind of scary.
If I hadn't been,
I'm not
in
scared
the
of
building,
anybody, but
yeah,
I'd have had something in my pocket, but it's in the console of my truck.
well, that's what the first thing I did whenever I seen him, because he was standing right there. Because you have to come out in the morning on the side, or at the night at the side, and he was standing right there. I literally had to just breathe. I barely I almost had to touch him to walk by him. He just stood there, and I had my hand on my bag.
No, that's what you want to do. Absolutely. I hate to say that, but that's the reason I carry.
Well, that's why I have my hand on it.
I don't have.
I'm too old. I'll break easy, Dave.
I'm
you'll
not
never have to use any of that judicial marksmanship. But
here's the thing: I don't break easy. I get ticked off easy. I'm an old man.
Yeah,
don't take much to make me mad.
That's the thing. It's not. If I say in my car when there's a fight or something, it ain't you I'm worried about. It's me. Yeah. How I'm going to react.
I've been around for a while, man. I don't have to put up with that crap anymore.
That scare me sometimes.
Anyway, good to have you with us. The folks from Bumper to Bumper are here, and I probably don't have to say this, but a lot of you have been making your way over to the Bumper to Bumper certified service centers and saying, air conditioning, please.
It's happening.
It's bad. And by the way, I was going over the temperatures for this weekend with Duck, and we're supposed to break 100 degrees on Sunday. It's going to be 102 air temperature, not feels like. It's going to feel like probably about 115.
Dave, that's just getting warm.
I was going to say, it's pretty normal.
It's not August yet. All right, it's not August
that's right.
yet. I'm with you about that.
It hadn't been summer that long, really.
Yeah, so let's talk about AC right now. Because are you getting calls like they call you in the morning and they go, hey, can you get me in today and fix my air conditioner?
every day.
Absolutely. Yes. Yep. And then you've already got like 10 on the schedule already. So, you're just doing what you can to squeeze them in as fast as you can, just working diligently on it this time of year.
By the way, do people have the wrong idea about their car AC? I mean, if you got, like me, I've got a small, sedan that I basically drive, and my air conditioning gets cold, but it's not blowing ice chips or anything like that. I would think that that's about what you can expect on days where the heat and the humidity are working against you.
The new Freon, Dave, the 1234 YF, it cools good, don't it, BJ?
Yeah,
but
it cools
nothing
good,
like,
but it's not like the older
it's
technologies.
nothing like the R12 or the 134A. And one thing is, you can take that same car, Dave, and if it's a 134A, it'll hold 2 pounds, where now it holds 14, 15 ounces.
Right.
At $10, $11 an ounce.
Yeah, that's one thing that if you didn't know, you will find out that they are.
It's more
twice
expensive.
as much to work on.
Yeah.
So
it's
without a doubt
a 10-pound drum, and that's the way you buy it's in 10 pounds. Is right at $1,000 for 10 pounds of the 1, 2, 3, 4.
And how many of those do you have?
Drums?
Yeah.
I've got 3 sitting on the shelf.
I'll keep about 2.
Yeah, I want everybody to think about that. You say, well, why does it cost so much to, have service on my car? Well, if you got to have, let's say, 2 drums of this stuff, that's $2,000 that's just sitting on your shelf.
Yeah.
Until somebody comes in and says, there's something wrong with my air conditioner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And, when you explain to them, how much the 1, 2, 3, 4 YF is,
they don't care.
Yeah. I just want to ride cool.
At that point, yeah.
And there's, it's the 12YF is not as resilient. So like, people like to put, their own Freon leak stuff in there and all that. Yeah, don't do it. On a 12YF machine, I mean, it will literally ruin your machine.
Yeah.
Destroy it. If we suck any of that into our machine, we've got a $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 boat anchor sitting there. Yep. It's done.
Then you got to send it off and get it repaired and hopefully they can fix it. They don't call you and say, hey, sorry, can't do nothing about it. We're going to send it back. My new machine, I bought it back in the winter. Bumper to Bumper had them on sale back in the winter, and I bought it, and it was $7,400, I think. And it's just a plain Jane.
Yeah.
It ain't the fancy one. The fancy one's $10,000 nowadays. But and then people ask you, well, why do you charge me just put a little Freon in it? Well,
because it costs me to put a little bit of Freon in it.
I got to buy that $10,000 machine and pay for it.
Yeah.
That's like EC, like when people, they'll run in there, hey, can you check my check engine light on? When I charge them 30 minutes to do it, then they gripe at me about it. Okay. You go buy this $20,000 computer and all these programs that you got to have to go along with it and see how you like it. I don't like buying them neither, but I own 8 of them, and because it takes that many at the shop to work every day.
Yeah. And when you use them, now you've got a lot of these places like GM and Chrysler. I don't even know if Chrysler exists anymore, or Ford or whatever, and they're charging you just to use their site.
Hey,
oh yeah.
I took a international truck over to International, get ABS module. Drove up to the door. The guy walked out, put his computer on it, sucked the information out. I hung the new one up there with a zip tie because, he walked back out, programmed it, took him the grand total of maybe 8 or 9 minutes, taking it out and putting it back.
Right.
$483. They charged me $150 computer fee.
Yeah. I know Daniel over Carter's was saying I took one over there to have programmed, and it was twice as much. And he goes, yeah, Ford just went up. Just it cost me, like almost $200 to do this. And I'm just to plug on and do it.
And the good thing about it though, when you buy that from Ford or GM or Chrysler Corporation, you can program that one vehicle with that VIN number for 1 year. We're used to, we'd get 2 or 3 gathered up and we'd buy the program, and then we could program all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
But they figured that out. So now you buy it for that VIN and that VIN only.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all it's good for, ain't it, BJ?
Yeah, and what people don't think about is the long-term situation, like parts recycling and whatnot. Like if we want to go buy a rack and pinion, like most of those steering parts are electronic assist these days. And, and on some of the older ones, you can take one, from a comparable model, put into another, program it, have no issues whatsoever. But there's some guys out there or companies that are one right VIN type scenarios. And
yep.
You ride it once for that car, and even though it's a good usable product that still can be sold again, they took that out of the pool. It's done.
They locked it where you can't go in and change the VIN number.
Exactly.
And a lot of this stuff, if it don't have the proper VIN number in it, it won't work.
Mm-hmm.
It won't work. And it's kind of like when you put a blend air door motor in it, you got to go back in a computer and set it.
So,
and people look at you like, you got to do what? Yeah, you got to go in there and set it.
You got to tell it that it's there, calibrate it, get in the right position, make sure it's operating the way it should be.
Yeah, I want everybody to know I'm not bringing this up to make everybody feel sorry for, the technicians.
But it's just the way it is.
It's your checkbook that suffers.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. And, I don't like charging people to scan their vehicles, but I got to pay for all this equipment, I had my insurance company come in and they evaluated how much equipment I had. And we went from $500,000 to $700,000 worth of insurance to cover it, where if I have a fire or a tornado comes through and wipes it clean.
Yeah, no questions, just write you a check.
That's what it'll take to replace everything in it, And
at cost at that time.
Yeah, that was last month when they was out there, because my insurance comes due the 1st of August, and they was out there just walking through, and I've had a receptacle that somebody had dropped something up against the cover and cracked it, and they wrote me up for that, so I had to get that repaired. So, but we're used to, they never come out, Dave.
Yeah.
Now they come out every year and walk through the shop.
Well, they gotta protect themselves as well as you got to protect yourself. That's just something that the way business is now.
One of my shop rag buckets, somebody had took the lid off and stood it up over in the corner, and they come through and seen it, and where's the lid at? I had to go find the lid and put back on it, and I had it screwed to the barrel with the chain, but somebody cut the chain off. So.
Wow.
You just kind of like, I get it now. My previous employees and stuff, just people just will tear my stuff up. I'm like, look, man, I'm not tearing your stuff up, But now I walk around my shop, I'm like, who's tearing my stuff? it's like the lid's right here. I chained it to it for you.
Yeah. Do you guys know how to wipe this stuff down? Why do you got to leave it so dirty?
I'll wipe it down if you just keep it functional.
Yeah, there you go. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mopped floors yesterday.
Yeah, I'm a good shop cleaner, man.
I mopped floors and cleaned the office windows yesterday.
So is it mostly people who are coming in? I understand that the propellant that you put inside the air conditioners can either be created nor destroyed, when it's in the can.
No.
So it's not going to go anywhere. The only reason it goes anywhere is that you got a leak somewhere.
Exactly. You got evaporator core leaking, or, you got some of these new Chevrolets, they still got condenser problem, which Daniel over at Carter Radiator, he can tell you how many he repairs every day. But that's just part of life,
And AC systems, it could be super minor. It could be major. Yeah. So, it can go from one end of the spectrum to the other.
We had one in there this week. Strader valve was leaking on it. Somebody throw the cap away.
Yeah.
Strader valve leaking on it.
Yeah, and that's a hallelujah right there. It's like, all right.
Pull the Freon out, put a Strader valve in it, put it back in, put a cap on it.
So if they tell you you're low on whatever brand of coolant they're putting into your car, the bottom line is you got a leak somewhere.
Exactly.
And that's got to be found too.
Well, some of these cars, like the new cars, they don't have but 13, 14 ounces of Freon in them. And if it gets 2 ounces low, it's not going to cool properly, is it, BJ? It's not going to cool properly. It's struggling to keep up with a a 95-degree day. Now, when it's 75, 80 degrees, hey, you won't ever know no difference. But when it gets up in these, anything above 95 degrees, even one completely full of Freon and everything working perfect, it still struggles to cool it. But especially on a big SUV, something like that, it struggles to keep everything cool. And, and I see people, I went into Kroger one day this week, and I got out, turned the truck off and got out, and there was an SUV sitting there with a motor running. It had all the doors locked, sitting there with a motor running, and I'm thinking, yeah, you better hope this sucker don't spring no leak, because you'll burn this sucker to the ground, because they won't shut themselves off, if you spring a water leak or anything like that, I understand that when you get in it, you don't want to get in a hot car. Women don't, and I don't blame them, because, they got makeup on and their hair all, done up pretty and smooth, and, but you're living on borrowed time when you do that.
Mm-hmm. And you think, well, it's all locked up. For a thief, that's not putting much in front of them, to be honest. If they're any good at all. And
the thing about it is, Dave, they can drive that car as long as they don't ever turn it off. Can't they, BJ?
That's right.
They can drive it. If they ever turn it off, that's where it's going to be at.
Yeah.
Might ding at them away.
Yeah.
Mine dings at me if my key's not in the car.
But they can drive it wherever they want to go as long as they don't ever turn it off. Or somebody don't, if it's a GM, if they don't come in and turn it off for them. So, but it's these hot days is terrible on vehicles. Cold days is hard on them, but nothing like the hot days, Dave.
All right, 7:22. Let's take our first break. We'll be back. Bumper to Bumper, our advertiser, makes this show possible. We thank them. And Bumper Auto Parts are you put those on your car. The normal warranty is 2 years, 24,000 miles, part and labor. And if you use their credit card, it's 3 years, 36,000 miles, part and labor. So keep that in mind. So Dave Elswick Show is now 23 minutes after 7. If you're, really needing to know by the moment. And if you got to be to work at 8 o'clock, you might pick it up a little bit. So Dave Elswick Show, we'll be back in just a moment.
Cuts through the political spin on the Alex Marlow podcast.
The economics of illegal immigration is so dumb. It's so stupid for Americans. We want American dollars.
Of course, from Duck's Garage, and BJ is here from Jets over on Markham, just a smidge down from the Oyster Bar.
Yep. just a smell away.
He's yeah, and then you get drawn in.
Yeah, when they fire up that smoker on Wednesdays. Oh my gosh, man!
You like oysters?
Yeah, as long as they're fried. I like fried oysters. Yeah. I'm not really big on raw oysters. No. I just don't like. I mean, I've ate them. I
No, you
I just don't want to
them.
get sick.
You,
You know what I mean? I
You
want
just
to
swallow them.
Yeah, I like to enjoy food. I like fried oyster. No, the fried
I
oyster
like the
po'
fried
boy
ones.
over there is excellent.
Well, I
Excellent.
like eating clams, but I want fried clams.
Mm-hmm.
I made the mistake one time being at a Hooters and they had steamed clams, and I ordered them not having. Well, it's like putting a piece of rubber in your mouth.
Well, I still like them though.
You know, I mean, you want a chewy food. Let me tell you
don't
what.
supposed to chew them, Dave. You're supposed to swallow them.
You know, as far as clams, or as far as oysters or whatever, I like my food cooked.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
I mean, I don't even really care for, go in and get salmon raw.
No.
And have them roll it up for me.
No.
You know, I used to eat that once in a while, and because it doesn't change the flavor of it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of different fish, you get it where it's raw, and it really does change the flavor of it. It's like
it's got the fishy taste for
sure. This is my thing. If I'm eating fish, I expect it to taste like fish.
Yeah,
and that's just kind of be expected,
But I still want it done.
Yeah, but there's.
It's kind of like working on your vehicle. You want it all to be done, not just third way done.
Well, yeah, and when you take your car in, and this is why I tell people to go bumper to bumper, is because when you take your car in there and they start working on it, they'll work on it right then, but they'll fix it. They don't just work on it and then give it back to you.
You know what Ken Sullivan always says?
Yeah.
Destroy it yourself.
Yeah, you don't want to do it. You want them to do it.
Well, I got a truck out there, Dave. It's a 2020 Chevrolet 1-ton. Lightning got it.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm at about $11,000 right now.
Well, that fried every one of the computers in it, I bet.
They're on the fuel tank module now, putting it in it because I can't get the fuel pump to come on in the tank and the modules burn up on it. But I've put an ECM on it, a TCM on it, a body control module, ABS module. Now the fuel pump module is supposed to be in this morning for it. Hopefully that'll make it start.
Yeah.
And then we'll figure out what's in the dash bad. I guarantee the radio is going to be bad. The seat belts are going to be bad.
Yeah. There's a lot of electrical stuff.
I don't know how it burns the seat belts up, but the seat belts will not untrack.
Oh, you can't pull them out?
Nope. I've seen this before, and I tried to get the guy to total it, but
they want to fix it.
Well, the insurance wanting to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
It's a $100,000 truck,
Yeah.
So, and I told the guy, I said, look, whatever you do, do not close this claim out for 1 year. They'll give you 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, because I promise you that
there's more.
Yeah. Electrical anomalies,
This ain't all of it.
You'll be feeling like you are in a commercial. But wait.
Yep. You're right. Wait just a few more minutes because something, I've done this before, probably in my lifetime. I've probably repaired 10 or 15, been struck by lightning.
Mm-hmm.
And I tell these people, hey, if they'll total it, let them total it. Because you think I'll get it done to you, hand it back to you, and I promise you in 2 weeks you'll be back.
All right, we've got more to talk about, but we'll do that after Bill O'Reilly. He's up next. Tell us what he thinks about the world and what's going on here on the Dave Elswick Show.
Bill O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first,
Americans deserve a healthcare system that puts patients first. Right now, it's slow, complicated, and controlled by insurance companies. That's why more people are turning to All Family Pharmacy, a pharmacy that supports your medical freedom. You order online, licensed doctor reviews your request, and they handle the hard part. Your prescription ships right to your door. Please go to allfamilypharmacy.com/Bill. Use code BILL10 to save 10%. On this Friday, I'm thinking about the Democratic Party's foolish rhetoric New York City Mayor, ma'am, Donnie is the most effective mouthpiece here because he is promising to freeze rent in New York and give away free food and free other stuff. He's got the power to do that, but on the federal level, you don't. So Mamdani is obviously seeking to circumvent the capitalistic system. That's what communists do. They want the state to take over the means of production. If you want a communist country, you can control prices and wages. Hello, Cuba. But not in a free market economy. Here's the truth. If you have no money in the bank, it's likely your own fault. Unless you have an infirmity, there are many ways to support yourself in America, many options to make honest money. The primary reason poverty is spreading is that people don't know how to manage their money, and they don't know how to live a responsible financial life. Back in a moment. For 250 years, home ownership has been the cornerstone of the American dream. But that dream is under attack for many across the USA due to the rise in title fraud. But you can protect yourself with 25% off home title locks, $1 million triple lock protection. Please go to HomeTitleLock.com today. Use promo code BILL25 at checkout. Don't let yourself become a victim. That is the Morning O'Reilly.
The Car and Truck Doctor Show is back. Sponsored by Bumper to Bumper Auto Parts and these dealers. Joe's Garage in North Little Rock, Midstate Transmission and Auto Repair in Benton, and Pinnacle Automotive in Little Rock. Now, here's Dave Elswick on 101.1, The Answer.
All right, back with you here on Dave Elswick Show. We're just talking a moment ago about Kerrville, and that's where they had the big flood last year. Went through that summer camp.
Cathy, Texas, and all down through there.
Yeah.
But they showed pictures yesterday. It's flooding again.
Yeah, this morning they said that they went from 3 foot deep to 16 feet deep on the Kerr River in a matter of 30 minutes.
I've seen the Spring River up there at Hardy. I've seen it go from Twickling Spring to 20 foot deep.
Really?
Within an hour.
I've never had that happen at Spring.
I've seen the Spring River. I mean, I've seen the Buffalo rise like it too before, because when they get a lot of rain up in Missouri, that's when the Spring River comes up. If you get it around Hardy and places like that, Spring River won't come up very much. But when they get it all up in Missouri like they got last week, I've seen the Spring River rise 20 feet within an hour.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, they got them good sized bridges across it too. So, it definitely gets rocking up there.
Well, I know that, when you get up there and you got the spring that's up there, I mean, it's dumping
that never changes.
hundreds and hundreds of gallons of water all the time up there.
Bubbling up out of the ground.
Yeah. Out of the, that's the Missouri aquifer it's coming off of, isn't it?
Yeah, they said once a long time ago they put some green dye in it to see where it was coming from. It comes out up in Missouri, middle of Missouri, somewhere where it starts at. But, Dave, here about a week ago, me and her was over at the tavern eating in Bryant.
Her is his wife.
Yeah, my wife. Excuse me. My wife, Teresa.
Good call, Dave.
And
I got your back, Duck.
I know. I've been married to her so long, it don't bother me.
She didn't think nothing about it.
Yeah, I got you.
But anyway, we was in the tavern eating, and water was running across the road about 2 foot deep. And these people was busting down through there and hit that water. Where the intake pipe is on most cars.
Yeah, it's down on the bumper now.
Even SUVs are down behind the bumper. And I bet you they was 8 cars sitting there flooded out. And Teresa asked me, she said, are they ruined? I said, yeah, probably. Motor's probably ruining them. I said, if it's not ruining them, they'll get them out and dry them out and change oil in them, they'll be all right for a while until the green monster starts growing in them. And then once it grows, then you better go hunt a new home. So, but there was one woman, she got out and water was up over her knees.
Wow.
And, she was livid, and
she went driving into it really fast.
Oh yeah. She hit it. I mean, we was looking out the window watching her. She hit it and, but Then about that time, Bryant Fire Department showed up and blocked the road off. But they was 7 or 8 sitting over there, flooded out. And the water was running across the road, and it was at least 18 inches deep, probably, or not more.
Yep. Well, I don't drive in the fast lane unless I'm passing. And I know
I'm always passing, so I have to
go. I get past somebody, I get over, because if it's raining, it never fails. Somebody will be in the fast lane on the other side and hit a little. It's not a lot, just a little bit of water sitting on the road, and it's like a tsunami comes over the middle wall and just dumps it right on top of you.
We had a customer in the other day. He'd brought his mother's car in, wanting his mother's car serviced. It had no rubber on the wiper blades. They had
the edge was gone. It was just
a little the flat part laying there, and
the frame.
And Brady was servicing it. And he said, "Hey, this thing needs wiper blades on it. It ain't got none." And he said, "Well, it's my mom's car. She don't drive it very much. He only serviced it once a year." And so we went ahead and put wiper blades on it. But speaking of the rain,
yes,
we've been through the wintertime, and I bet we have sold probably 150 pair of wiper blades this summer.
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely.
It
has been a wiper blade summer. You're right.
Because we've had rain this year. I got a couple of farmer buddies up in Northeast Arkansas, and normally by this time of year they're irrigating. They're running their irrigation, the pumps and everything. He said, we ain't lit them up one time this year. He said, just about the time it starts getting dry, he said, we'll get another little shower to carry us over. And,
well, they're happy about that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh, yeah, because he, told me last year, he said last year was the first year in a long time. He said, I just barely broke even. He said, I paid all my hands and paid all my payments. He said, I had just a very little left over to live on.
That must mean that China's buying grain again.
Because
that's the reason they were having a couple of years of really bad farming times, is because they had said they were going to buy X amount of tons of soybeans, and then they decided not to.
Well, he didn't raise no rice this year. Either one of them, they have no rice this year. And I asked him, because he usually raised 2,000 acres of rice, and he said, I lost money on rice last year. He said, so I'm not raising. He's raising soybeans and cotton. So, but there again, he has to work on his equipment just like we have to work on vehicles every day.
Yeah.
He said, hey, I had to service tractors and work on my combines and all that stuff. And, he was telling me, he said, it's just got so expensive. I said, I know. I bought 250 gallons of 15W40 truck oil, big truck oil, from the guy Monday. They delivered it Monday. And it went up almost 90 cents a quart.
Wow, that's a lot of money when you're talking about an oil change on a truck.
Yeah, when it holds 44 quarts.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
They hold 44 quarts. Some of them holds 54 quarts.
And they got that several big old can filters on them too.
Oh yeah, it ain't nothing to be $1,000 now to service a big truck.
Wow.
And yesterday I had a new Kenworth in there yesterday servicing it. It's a truck's got about 40,000 miles on it. One fuel filter, one cartridge fuel filter. You get it at one place, Kenworth. Nobody else has them yet because it's so new.
Right.
$181.
Well, and people want to know why food is so expensive.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly why food is so expensive.
They're sticking it to the truckers, man.
And in another 4 or 5 months, Wix has got it coming out, but they can't release it yet because Fleet Guard that makes them for Cummins, they won't, let them release it yet. It'll be about $60 once they release it, come out. Because I called Billy over Bumper to Bumper, and she said, I can see it in the book, but they don't.
Proprietary patents and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to get it, got to get everything took care of. But, then the price will come down. But oil went up almost 90 cents a quart Monday when I filled up my tank.
Well, there's an old saying that blank flows downhill.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the same thing with prices. I always think when they tell me that there's no such thing as a rising tide helps everybody, I said it's just the same way that when prices are going up, they hit everybody.
I'll tell you what, tires,
wow, they're expensive.
Disposal fees just went up double. like 3 weeks ago.
What
And
Joe was telling me the
us,
other day.
They give us about 1 day warning. I got my paperwork on Thursday, June 28th, and it went into effect July 1st.
Oh my God.
Right over the weekend there. And essentially we pay in, through the Arkansas program. It was a subsidized program for these tire recyclers,
right,
to transport and process these tires. Well, that $3 no longer pays for that. They charge us, the retailer, directly for that cost. So when we go dump an automotive tire, it's minimum $3 there. We still got to pay $3 to the state, which I don't know what that's really allocated for anymore. But
because we can.
But all they tell us, Dave, is that we're able now to charge the customer the price for disposal and transportation and all that. Well, I mean, my gosh, I'm just sitting there thinking, like, I'm glad I only my shop is only like 20 blocks away from the recycler. What about the guy in Hot Springs? Because they used to go get those tires and bring them back to Little Rock. They don't do that anymore. So the retailer in Hot Springs or Malvern or Cersei, wherever they're at, they've got to pony up and load their tires up or have them loaded up and shipped to Little Rock.
We're right there in front of the Bumper to Bumper store in Benton. They got a big old trailer there, and it's got look like about 8 to 9 foot sidewalls on it. And all the tire people around Benton, they'll bring their tires over and throw them in there.
Yes. And that's
so
they used to have a spot.
Haul.
Yeah, they would have a spot, and then where all the retailers would bring their tires. The tire recycler would come pick it up, drop off a clean, empty trailer, and just repeat the process. Well, that's no more. So
my brother John Paul in Indiana, he retired, but he didn't want to be totally retired, so he went and got a part-time gig with a garage, and his job was to haul tires twice a week.
Mm-hmm.
To the place that they had to go to. And he said, you'd be stunned at how much those places pay to get tires taken care of. And that's why they're always looking for, what can we do with these shredded tires and stuff? Because, all the municipalities and the people, the tree huggers and stuff, they don't want those burned, Don't be putting that black smoke up in my atmosphere. It's just.
Well, what if somebody wants to keep their tires? Oh, it's going to cost me $24 to dispose of these tires.
But you're going to keep them?
Yeah. I might need a swing at the house for the kid, or so. So we're going to see where this
I'm going to breed mosquitoes.
Yeah. They're mosquitoes.
That's exactly what they are.
Mosquito farms, man.
Or plants. You can put plants in them.
Yeah, but I'm just telling you.
Hey, out west they build houses out of it.
Yeah, my dad used to cut them up and make flower pots.
They do. They do make houses out of them
out west
in Arizona.
They take red clay mud and mix it with hay and make a house out of it. But if you ever seen them grind one of them tires up, they grind the steel and all up.
Yeah,
and you would think. Because they're using it for a lot of playground stuff nowadays. Mm-hmm. But you would think that the steel would stick in kids' feet, but it don't. I don't know how they grind it up.
Well, what we see is the big chunks being ground up. In the building, they're refining it down to little pellets and stuff like that, and and then it's a byproduct that gets sold and whatnot. But and from what I understand, the state wasn't. I know you've probably seen on the news where like these tire recyclers are shutting down or going on strike or whatever.
Right.
And that would get the attention of the government to step in, but they were saying they were not properly getting paid. So I guess they just said, okay, you know what, you want to get paid by the retailer. Like I said, I don't know what the state does with their $3, but
most high schools that I know of, they don't. It used to be they would do blacktop and make the running tracks out of. That's not what they do anymore. They use tires that they've ground up and stuff, and it's much better on your knees. By the way.
Oh yeah, because it's spongy more than it does solid. Here about 4 or 5 years ago, I went over to my deer woods, and somebody had backed up there and threw out about 100 tires.
Oh no!
And so I called the sheriff department. Sheriff come out and looked, and so I put me a deer camera up in a tree.
Mm-hmm.
Well, about 3 weeks later, I catch them.
Good.
And I called the sheriff's department. He goes over. This guy was hauling them out North Arkansas. Supposed to been bringing them to Little Rock, but he was taking them over there and throwing them out on the ground.
And keeping the money.
Yeah, he picked them all up. I don't know what kind of fine he got, But I went by there about 2 weeks later after I called them, and they was all gone.
Mm-hmm. You can't play that game for very long. I mean, because you got to match your numbers up, from what you're selling to what you're returning. It's got to be somewhat even. But
this guy was just a hauler. He was picking them trailers up. And
yes. Now, it would take years for him to figure it out, probably.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, for our listeners, it was that we were having such a problem with people that were taking those cats off of people's cars and stuff. I don't hear about that anymore. Did something happen?
Oh yeah. They all your new cats now have a VIN number on them, and you better have paperwork if you go to the salvage yard to sell them, because if you ain't got that paperwork, the cops coming to see you.
And don't you have to give your ID now? Like
at
the salvage yard, there was a law passed a few years ago. I remember that.
Yeah, but now they've got VIN numbers on all the cats, and so when we take one off at the shop, there's 5 papers that I had to fill out
for each one,
for each cat.
Okay.
And the customer has to have one in the glove box, and then I had to send some to the state. Then I got to send, when I sell it, I had to have a piece of paper with me, tell them, hey, I've took it off this car. It come from this customer.
So now that's why they're more expensive, thanks to criminals.
Yep.
Well, yeah. Whenever they steal stuff, that's always going to cost all of us.
Yep. Well, of
course,
they
call it shrinkage.
Dollar General store took all their self checks out because they said they was losing so much money, and Walmart's taking some of theirs out too now.
Yep.
It was a joke the other day. I was listening to this woman went to Walmart, went through the line, and it rung up $400 something, and she looked at the girl behind her. She said, "I want a second opinion on this price." So she gets her stuff and goes over to self checkout. She said, "That's strange. It ain't but $93 over here."
Yeah.
Wow.
It's the way it works.
That's right. And it costs all of us money when they do that.
Yes, it does. Absolutely.
I bet Walmart loses hundreds of thousands of dollars every year, by people.
Do y'all ever go to Sam's? I'm sorry, I'm getting off track here. Y'all seen that thing you walk through the door? Have you done the scan and go on the app?
Yeah.
No, I haven't done that.
And you walk through and they ding you. They're like, ding, oh yeah, you're good to go.
Oh yeah.
It's like, but I wonder what that thing you're walking through is pushing into your body. As far as like radio waves and
radiation,
some kind of RF
like
radiation.
Like at least they give you a choice at the TSA,
Yeah, exactly.
All right, It's 7:48 means we got to get a break in. Let's get that. We'll come back. Want to talk about air conditioning real quickly again, because the weather is not going to get cooler by this weekend. It's going to get about 10 degrees hotter. We'll tell you about it when we return here on the Dave Elswick Show.
America is at a tipping point. To ensure we stay the land of the free and home of the brave, you need to be informed and engaged. That's why we're here. 101.1 The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk.
Hello, KDXE listeners. Join me Saturdays, 8 a.m. for a new program about investing in physical gold and silver. The show, Johnny on the Spot, provides valuable insight about buying and selling physical precious metals. Brought to you by CMI Gold and Silver, the nation's oldest bullion firm, serving clients nationwide since 1973. Saturday mornings, 8 a.m. on 101.1 FM The Answer. And check us out online at cmigs.com.
Did you hear Congressman Bruce Westerman on the Dave Elswick Show?
This is a long-standing partnership. It's grown over the years. What I think a lot of Americans don't understand is that we give money to Israel and we don't get anything in return. I think that's possibly what some people think, and there are obviously a lot of Americans that have, over the last few years, suddenly turned their back on the Israeli democracy and our partnership with them countering terrorism. But this defense partnership is a two-way street on technology. Mossad and the IDF in Israel and their civilian technology base is among the best in the world.
Don't miss Congressman Westerman, Wednesday mornings at 7:30 on the Dave Elswick Show. 101.1 The Answer. Don't miss cutting-edge coverage of daily news from an America First perspective on the Alex Marlowe Podcast on the Salem Podcast Network.
Everything I'm seeing from the public is that public does not like the idea of just pure welfare and charity being done for people who are able to work and are not willing to work. So able-bodied people have got to get back to work.
Subscribe today on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com. We bring you the biggest news stories of the day, not to tell you what to think, but to allow you to have the most information so you can make up your mind. 101.1 The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk. The Car and Truck Doctor Show is back. Sponsored by Bumper to Bumper Auto Parts and these dealers: Dewdrop Auto Repair in Pine Bluff, Duck's Garage in Benton, and Jets Gas and Service in Little Rock. Now, here's Dave Elswick on 101.1 The Answer.
And I did not plan that.
Yeah, you did.
Man, that was awesome, Dave. I appreciate that, brother.
Yeah.
That made my day.
Both of these guys do a good job for you. By the way, any bumper-to-bumper certified service center is going to do good work for you because they all live by the same code of ethics.
And believe me, Dave, we all talk to one another. When one of us has got trouble, we start, hey, have you ever seen this? Yeah, I have. I've done this before to fix it. And then they'll get a call back. Hey, man, that took care of my problem. We all talk to one another. I talked to Kenneth down at Dewdrop the other day about a truck he had down there, and he called me back and he said, you was right. That's what it was. Mm-hmm. He had a 6.6 Duramax, and they done put an injector in it. They done put another injector in it. And he called and asked me, he said, y'all ever had this trouble? I said, yeah, it needs a plug on it. I said, it's number 7 injector, ain't it? He said, yeah.
How'd you know?
Yes.
Well, I should have called you 2 days ago.
He said, yeah. I said, how many of them that I get in here and they tell me they need an injector and I put a plug on it, cures the problem. And you can cut that plug apart, Dave, and I promise you can't find out one thing wrong with it, but you can put a new plug on the injector, go hidden.
Huh. That's interesting. Well, that one plug I had problems on my SUV, it was I think the Champion that we were putting in it had a little bit of like most of us guys would know what I'm talking about. It's like their chest fell into their drawers,
Yeah.
So that you got a little piece sticking out, and we found out that it was arcing off of that.
Mm-hmm.
And now it had no problem, but when it started having a problem, anytime we changed the plug, if we put one of the Champions in, no go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was just a problem, and we went to a different brand.
This is electrical plug. It plugs on top of the injector, and I've cut one apart just trying to figure out what's wrong with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I've cut. Me and Blake and Russell probably cut 3 or 4 apart just looking to figure out if it's got a broke wire in it. Mm-hmm. You can hold the end of it that plugs on the injector and pull on the wire, but you can put a new plug in it and the injector go right back to hitting, and code goes away. And
that's weird.
That's weird.
Oh, Don Harvey down at Desart, I know him real
Don.
good. Don?
Oh, yeah. Good fella.
He called me one day. He had one. He done put 4 injectors in it and done put an ECM on it. And he called me. He said, look, I need help. I said, all right. I know Don. Been knowing him for years. Knew his daddy when his daddy run it. And I said, here's the part number. It's a TP718 Delco.
Yeah.
I said, buy you that plug through bumper to bumper, put a plug on it. And I said, that'll cure your problem. And I could tell he was snickering a little bit like, yeah. But he knows not to question me. And next morning he called me. He said, you smart ass.
Yeah.
Hey, man, got to compliment you one way or the other.
Yeah, but that's the key. I mean, aren't you glad I'm not a dumbass?
Yeah, well, but that's why you got to talk, because, man, you come around with those weird, obscure issues. I mean, instead of sitting there trying to grind it out for a day, make a phone call. Somebody like Doug may have seen that, or maybe Sullivan may have seen one.
Yeah, don't call me.
Yeah,
well, one time I was listening to the guys. That's the answer you get from me.
Hey, Dave, you'd be surprised what my wife can tell you is wrong with your vehicle.
Yeah, I know.
But now, as far as she can tell you what to do, how to fix it, she's lost there. But she's heard me fix a bunch of them over the telephone for people, and she used to work out the airport. Then women say, "Hey, my car's doing this. My car's doing." Oh yeah, I know what's wrong with it.
Yeah.
And she start telling me, look at her like, what?
Now, let me tell a personal story about Joe's. I've been using Joe since 2001. And, he knows my cars. His mechanics know my cars. I was up in Wyoming visiting my brother in Gillette. And suddenly my car started having problems. And I called Joe and I said, hey, I got this problem. When I go to the mechanic, what should I be expecting to hear, And he says, well, here's what the problem is. Here's what you need to do. But don't worry about doing it right now. Do it when you get back with me.
Just come on home.
Yeah. Bring it. You can drive it on home and that's not going to bother. That took all the worry for the rest of my vacation away.
Yep.
And that's what can happen for everybody if you get your own kind of relationship going with a technician at a bumper-to-bumper service center.
There's a place in California, Dave, Isuzu place. I know the people real good. I've been doing business with them for 20 years. And Isuzu don't give out much information unless you are an Isuzu dealer.
So Joe don't hang out there, huh?
No.
Okay.
So, but there's a guy out there named Dave Campbell or something like that.
Well, he's that walking encyclopedia.
He's pretty close, Dave. But you can call out there and his first words out of his mouth, I need your credit card. He's going to charge me anywhere from $20 to $65, but he'll send me all the information I need for that code. All the warrant diagrams, how it's plumbed, what the test procedures is, but he's going to charge me. And my wife told me one time, she said, why don't you charge people? I said, Teresa, I just can't do that. I said, I expect people to help me. I said, I am a Isuzu dealer through him because I have the Isuzu test equipment. I'm their satellite station, what he calls me.
Oh, that's cool.
I very seldom even see an Isuzu on the road anymore.
These are the bigger trucks,
Oh, okay.
The 2-ton trucks and up.
Cab over things.
Yeah.
Of that nature.
But yeah, because I asked him one time, I said, I got generic Isuzu stuff, but it don't work like the original.
Yeah.
And so I was talking to him and I said, look, I need to buy this. How much it cost me? He said, well, send me your computer and I'll download it on it. And it cost me $6,000 for him to download it on it, plus $1,500 every year when he comes in and update it. But it saves me a whole bunch of headaches.
Yep.
Because when he downloads into it, then I get all the warrant diagrams and everything like that. But every once in a while, I get one that it's not in there, and then I got to call him. And like I say, the first word I was, can I use this credit card I got on file? I said,
yeah, he knows.
Okay.
Oh, he does.
Yep.
All right.
That's all he does every day.
But at least he's good at what he does.
If you haven't gone on vacation yet, you're going to do it, say, in the next month.
Get your car serviced.
Get your car taken care of now.
If you need AC
don't
work,
wait till the day before.
You need AC work, you better call and get in line because I ain't as far as behind as I was, but I'm pretty close.
All right. We'll be back
Dave.
with these guys next Thursday. You go have a good day there, VJ. You do the same thing, Duck, and then we'll be back. And David Fisher will be with us to talk about the economy here on the Dave Elswick
Thanks,
Show.
Bumper to Bumper.
Freedom has a frequency, and it's 101.1. The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk. KDXE, Kamek Village, Little Rock.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Accelerating U.S. airstrikes on Iran are bringing retaliation as the Islamic Republic lashes out at its neighbors. Kuwait's military says it faces a fresh round of incoming fire from Iran.
Iran's top negotiator issued a lengthy statement as the U.S. stepped up its airstrikes. Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf called the conflict an existential war, emphasizing the importance of maintaining Iran's claim to the Strait of Hormuz by force if necessary. But he also left the door open to negotiations. The U.S. says it's targeting Iran's ability to threaten shipping in the waterway. But in this latest round of strikes, Iranian media reported that a children's cancer hospital was evacuated after several missiles landed nearby.
The BBC's Barbara Plett-Usher. President Trump isn't offering much in the way of a preview of this evening's address to the nation, except to say that
it's really big news. It's really, really big news.
The White House speech will focus at least partially on election integrity, which polls show is a big issue with Americans of all political stripes. What was once primarily a childhood illness is making a comeback.
Measles cases on the rise here in the U.S. Johns Hopkins School of Medicine says we are about to break a 35-year record. The CDC says there were close to 2,300 measles cases last year in 2025. But as of this July, we've already hit that number and are expected to surpass it. The last time measles was an issue was back in the early 1990s.
Correspondent Laura Winters. Some residents in southwest Texas being urged to evacuate during severe downpours. Multiple flash flood warnings have been posted for the area. On Wall Street, ahead of this morning's opening bell, the Dow futures 19 points higher. NASDAQ futures down 300 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What is dedication?
The thing that drives me every day as a dad is Darian. We call him Day for short. Every day he's hungry for something, whether it's attention, affection, knowledge. And there's this huge responsibility in making sure that when he's no longer under my wing, that he's a good person. I think the advice I would give is you don't need to know all the answers. The craziest thing was believing that your dad knew everything. So as a dad, you felt like you had to know everything. You had to get everything right. It's okay to make mistakes. As long as it's coming from love, then, it kind of starts to work itself out. I want him to be able to sit back one day and go, we worked together, we did a good job.
That's dedication. Find out more at fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
With your news flash, I'm Trey Westerberg, 101.1 The Answer. Receive your dental implants and new smile in as little as 1 day with Little Rock's dental implant specialist, Dr. Samuel F. Jurek, DDS. Schedule your consultation now at jurekdds.com. The American Red Cross has declared an emergency blood shortage with a nearly 25% drop in blood supply since June. The decline began in May. Red Cross is urging all eligible donors to help replenish the supply. The Arkansas Game and Fish Commission now requires hikers without a hunting or fishing license to buy a $10.50 permit for commission-owned wildlife management areas. It'll help pay for trail maintenance. Arkansas now ranks first in the nation for religious liberty, according to a new index from the First Liberty Institute. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders says the state moved from 6th to 1st after new legal protections took effect this year. Arkansas health officials have confirmed at least one case of cyclospora, a parasite that can cause severe diarrhea, stomach cramps, and nausea. Doctors recommend washing fresh produce thoroughly and avoiding over-the-counter anti-diarrheal medication without medical advice. I'm Trey Westerberg with your news flash on 101.1 The Answer.
With your sports flash, I'm John Thayer on 101.1 The Answer. The Royals are back at home tomorrow night when they host the San Diego Padres. Kansas City went into the All-Star break 38-59. St. Louis Cardinals are on the road tomorrow. They'll play in Arizona against the Diamondbacks. The World Cup final is set. Argentina rallied yesterday to beat England 2-1 in the second semifinal. That sets up a World Cup final of Spain against Argentina Sunday in East Rutherford, New Jersey. The third-place match will take place in Miami Gardens, Florida. On Saturday, France will meet England. NASCAR Cup Series back in action on Sunday night. It's the Window World 450 under the lights in North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Northside Power, your trusted name when the power goes out. Generators isn't something they do, it's all they do. Find out more at northsidepower.com. I'm John Thayer with your Sports Flash on 101.1 The Answer.
On Salem News Channel, principled voices are shaping today's conversation. Scott Jennings brings clarity to the toughest debates. Josh Hammer's blistering commentary puts politics and culture on trial. And Alex Marlowe's insight connects us to what matters most. Watch anytime on Samsung TV Plus, Pluto TV, or find us on your screen at snc.tv. 3 new shows, 1 powerful lineup. Salem News Channel, across America.
All right, back we come here on the Dave Elswick Show, 8 o'clock hour, 6 minutes after 8. Glad that you joined us today. David Fisher will join us now for the next, about 30 minutes. And you'll be 30 minutes smarter about the economy if you just stick around and listen to what David has to say. Let's start off by the Federal Reserve and the Treasury Department. Both came out with reports here recently, David, about AI. Is AI as scary as people think it is?
Well, the Fed and the Treasury now are saying it is. I don't want to say everything about AI is negative. There's some great things that, all of us know about AI and use regularly. But there are some severe ramifications that the market is talking about. CNBC specialists are talking about. And now, two major agencies, the Federal Reserve and the Treasury, have released reports on it. Let's get into this. AI was mentioned 21 times by the Fed in their last meeting as a significant driver of inflation. So they're putting this above the war and oil going up. To put this into perspective, the previous meeting, AI was only mentioned 8 times. So it's escalating. It's definitely drawn the focus of the Fed. And here's what they say, a couple quotes from their report. Most participants pointed to scenarios in which the context of stable labor market conditions, inflation would remain elevated due to strong AI demand. They go on and say this also, Dave. Many participants noted that the strong AI demand infrastructure would likely sustain upward pressure on prices, products, and electricity. So they are saying AI is actually causing prices and inflation to be elevated when that's why they're talking about that, because that's their mandate. Let's take a look what the Treasury is saying. Very similar, except for they go a little bit further down the road in depth about it. They say this. They're talking more about the bubble in the market, which, that affects the Treasury and the dollar.
Right.
Here's what they say. AI stocks have accounted, check this number out, for 75% of market gains. That's want to talk about a narrow sector, a bubble?
Yeah.
80% of the profits, 95% of corporate capital expenditures.
Wow.
They're saying
that's an eye-opening number right there.
That's like all the money that's being made, all the money that's being invested, all the money that they are expected that they need. AI is doing that. And this has been in the report since November of 2022. So this is not just the last few months. This has been going on for years, and it's escalating enough to give this report. Ironically, that day, that month, and that year is the start of the bull market in stocks, also the start of the bull market in gold and silver, which gold and silver have outperformed stocks significantly during that period of time, as we talked about before. But the Treasury says this: AI investors are taking such significant risk that much of the financial system now rests upon AI meeting those expectations for gains and profitability. In simple terms, Dave, AI is betting like the internet bet. Yeah, the internet is here to stay, and it's all changed our lives for the most part of really good. But all those internet companies, 70% of them went out of business because they didn't make money. That's what caused the bubble to pop. Yet they said they were going to make money. And AI, according to the Treasury, is following the same path. And they state, here's what would happen if they don't make money. there would be a downturn not only in the AI market, but it would send shockwaves through the whole entire economic ecosystem.
Wow.
And they go on
Wow.
to list everything. Now,
Well, you remember the .com bubble, and what happened? Everybody thought that if they got on the internet, they were going to make big money. What happened is, what normally happens is companies that knew what they were doing and utilized the internet to do those things made money on it. I'll be honest with you. I thought Bezos and Amazon was going to go belly up, because when he first started, everything that he did, he was losing money on. But all of a sudden, it clicked with the consumers.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I remember the .com. I remember, everybody was saying, you got to invest in this, got to invest in this. And most of those investments turned sour because most of the companies didn't make money and they collapsed.
Yeah, exactly right.
There was a few that really did very well. And you mentioned one, and there's a handful of others, but it's a crapshoot. This is what we're talking about. This is what Warren Buffett is saying. It's a casino. And Larry Fink chimed in here this last week. Larry Fink, BlackRock, we all know him. And some people don't care for him because he's invested in some moral things that some people don't believe in. But he chimed in and saying that AI needs significant funds, that he didn't come out and say it black and white. He just assumed it, that there might be this maneuver to force retirement accounts to fund AI. So wrap all this up. There is a big challenge. I bring all this up because AI trade is already blowing up, Dave. In the last few weeks, we've seen critical components of services of AI buildouts have been obliterated, and many of those stocks are down 20 to 50% in just the last couple weeks. So it could be the start of this bubble bursting. I don't know that, but there are definitely the signs of this. And as a side note, BMW built the first humanoid robot factory in South Carolina. And now there's an automated AI system that can fill your prescriptions that a pharmacy can buy to replace people. So it's starting to happen. It's working in some areas. If you call that working, us losing jobs. Right. But that's the point of AI.
Well, the bottom line is labor is the most expensive part of running a business. So the more labor they can get rid of, the more labor they will get rid of.
Well, you can lower your costs a little bit by, buying the products that you need for the manufacturing. That might help a little bit, but you're right. The biggest component that you can work to lower is going to be your labor costs. And, machines don't need a break. They don't need to have lunch. They can work 24/7 as long as they're maintained. They don't require insurance or 401k. So it's a very cost-effective move, I guess, but it is going to affect the economy in a negative way. It's going to help us, like the internet helped us through information and knowledge, and it might help the medical side, the scientific side, the industrial side a little bit, but we're never going to go back to the 50s, 60s, and 70s when we had mass people working in factories. Those days are long past us now, especially with AI getting ready to come out full bore.
Well, and, people are excited because they're maybe making a little bit more money. However, the federal government, or any government for that matter, looks out on the fields and says, well, there's some money we can tax. And wealth is one of the things that they keep on wanting to zero in on, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a big push right now for a wealth tax. I'm on the radio in New York with Joe Piscopo, the guy from previous Saturday Night Live. I'm on with other people out there two or three major talk shows out in New York, and they all say the same thing with their new mayor out there, that they're after people's money. It's also happening across the other side of our country on the West Coast in California. There's a Democrat, a progressive Democrat in California who represents Silicon Valley. His name is Ro Kahana. Maybe you probably have heard of him. And he supports this wealth tax. He wants to pass a wealth tax on the November ballot that will seize 5% of billionaires' wealth. Now, let me explain really quick. This is different from, a income tax we pay on wages, salaries, things, assets that you sell. A wealth tax is you don't have to sell the asset; you just own the asset, a boat,
That's right,
real estate, physical things, artwork, things like that. Whether they're sold or not, this wealth tax can happen once, but it's going to happen every year if passed. And he wants to also pierce the irrevocable trust, which is why a lot of people set up those so that they're protected financially from a taxation. This is going to happen with affect around 250 billionaires in California. But here's the deal. It's a slippery slope. Once they start this process, they'll get to the upper income people. Then it's the middle class, you and I. So that's where this is going. And if you think this is something new, it's happening already in other countries. Norway, their wealth tax kicks in at $160,000. In other countries, in Switzerland, it kicks in at $100K. Netherlands, $57,000. I can go through the list of countries: Sweden, Germany, Austria, Denmark. They've all have wealth taxes. And there is a movement by Elizabeth Warren, a bill that's called the Ultra Millionaire Tax Act. And if passed, it would order the IRS to audit 30% of the tax returns. And right now, like 1% to 2% of the tax returns are being audited. So this would be trying to get a huge amount of money. And Jeff Bezos is in the process of pushing this back. He was on CNBC and he says, we don't have a taxation problem. We have a spending problem. And that's truly it. One last thing with this thing. The International Monetary Fund chimed in way back in 2013. They wrote a big white paper, 106 pages. I have a white paper that I wrote that I quote this on, by the way. It's called the bail-in. So that's what a tax is. They bail into your money, except for they tax you. So the International Monetary Fund says the world needs to do this. The world needs a wealth tax. So there's two ways of doing this, Dave. And the report by the IMF says there's two ways. One way is do it every year and just bleed people to death. And the other way is do it one big time, like a big haircut. And Roman Hochul wrote an article in the Wall Street Journal explaining and deciphering what this would be for the United States. And he says if they did a one-time tax called a wealth tax instead of every year, it would be more effective. But for the United States, that number would be 56 to 71%. So half to 3/4 of your money would go away. Or how about being taxed 5% more every year? So pretty much in about 5 years, you reach that halfway point. So, and then it just continues. So pick your fight here, but there hopefully will be a pushback. Why am I bringing this up? Because when you have physical gold and silver, there's no social security number tied to it. They can't tax something they don't know. That's why the wealthy buys rare art. They buy, and there's no reporting requirements with those types of things. So the wealthy buys metals. They buy things where they have privacy, and you can't get that 100% in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and all the paper assets. So diversification is a big key.
All right. David Fisher, I'm sure, has already frightened you enough, but let's come back. Let's come back after the break, and let's bring up a place, Fort Knox.
Let's bring it up again. It's back in the news. We'll do that. It's 8:20. Let's take a break. We'll be back with David Fisher here on the Dave Elswick Show in just a moment.
Change. Can you imagine America in 20 years? Scary thought, isn't it? The good news is we have the power to take our nation back. Stay right here for all the information you need. 101.1. What if you could take 101.1 The Answer with you everywhere? You can. Download the 101.1 The Answer app and stay connected to the voices you trust, live and on demand. Wake up with Dave Elswick. Stay sharp with Doc Washburn. And hear from national voices like Chris Stegall, Scott Jennings, Hugh Hewitt, Larry Elder, and Mike Gallagher. Breaking news, bold opinions, local insight, national perspective, all in one place, all in your pocket. At work, in the car, on the go. If it matters to Arkansas and America, you'll hear it on 101.1 The Answer. Plus, stream us live anywhere. Catch up on podcasts and never miss a moment. Search 101.1 The Answer in your app store and download it today. 101.1 The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk.
Whether retirement's just around the corner or already here, it's common to be overwhelmed. That's where Total Wealth with David Lucas can help. Utilizing their signature Thrive planning process, they'll work together with you to identify and resolve your concerns, allowing you to fully pursue your passions and enjoy life. Because a successful retirement isn't just how much you save, it's the quality of life you live. Schedule a free evaluation now at TotalWealth.com. While you're at the website, download the free guide to Social Security. It'll help answer a lot of your questions. Go to TotalWealth.com or call 501-382-8800. 501-382-8800. One more time, go to TotalWealth.com or call 501-382-8800. That's 501-382-8800. 501-382-8800. Go to TotalWealth.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Lucas Total Wealth, an Arkansas registered investment advisor. Arkansas Insurance License number 161527438.
There's a real battle going on, not only for our future, but that of our children and grandchildren. How do we ensure they have it better than we do? One way is to keep listening to us. We're your information source in the battle. 101.1 The Answer. The conservative voice of Arkansas. The Dave Elswick Show on 101.1 The Answer.
8:23 on a Thursday. We're getting closer to the weekend. I'm loving it. And we're talking with David Fisher during this half hour. And I told you there was a place that was back in the news again. Why is that? Well, let's find out with David Fisher. He wants to give us the latest about Fort Knox. What's going on about that, David?
Yeah, Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, is now talking about it. You know, I've never seen in 32 years of doing this or studying history where any administration has talked more about gold, silver, and Fort Knox and West Point, because that's where metals are stored, than all the other combined presidents in history. This is a big thing. So what did Scott Bessent say? Well, he was interviewed by Jesse Waters by Fox Business News. And they're walking down the hall, and he said, one of them, the U.S. dollar, we used to back by silver and sometimes gold. And a few minutes later, he brings up Fort Knox, and he says that he was asked the question. He says the gold, first of all, I'm happy to say all the gold is present and accounted for. The U.S. has a large pile of gold in the world, over trillions of dollars at current market value. Well, let's put this into perspective. The Fed law, or the official federal law, or the official book value, because the government says they hold and own 499 million ounces of gold, but they value gold at $42.22 per ounce. Well, gold's at $4,000 an ounce.
Yeah, no kidding.
So they value it at $11 billion on their book value. Bessent's referring to market value as $1.06 trillion. And there's a difference of 1.05 trillion between market value and book value. So here is why is he bringing this up? Because he's alluding that they're going to revalue gold. And once they revalue gold at market value or higher, we don't know what they're going to revalue gold at. Last time they revalued gold, they revalued gold 70% above market value. That'd be like gold being $6,800 then. Can you imagine that? First of all, I'm not telling you to buy gold and insinuating it's a get-rich-quick scheme. It's not. But the government is going to revalue gold, it looks like. Otherwise, why would they be talking about this? So the discussion came up where Jesse Waters says, so have you gone to Fort Knox? He goes, no, I haven't gone to Fort Knox, and I'm not making any plans to go to Fort Knox. On a side note, I know we're running out of time. We're going to get into this maybe next week a little bit more. But there's not been this audit since 1953. But the point of the matter is this. The government needs to do something. And that something is revaluing gold, backing the currency by gold. Either way, gold is going to make a rally with this or without this, because we're still going to spend like crazy. So if you have a 401k IRA, it'd be very wise to take advantage of gold and silver at these levels, because we've talked about this before. There's going to be a big rally in gold and silver, and we're going sideways in the market. And that's when you want to buy the market, because all the financial stories out there from central banks are saying they're going to buy a lot more gold. We'll get into that a little bit coming up in the coming weeks, because it won't be with you next week. But don't hesitate. Don't wait to buy gold. Buy gold and wait.
All right. David, you have a great vacation. I know you're going to go out on the road for a couple of weeks, and then we'll catch you coming back in August.
Yep.
You have a great week, a great vacation, and I'll see you on the other side.
Sounds good, Dave.
All right. Thank you very much. David Fisher here on the Dave Elswick Show. Give them a call at 844-504-2575, and they'll talk to you about how you can move from a 401k over to money into precious metals, as well as ask about a couple of white papers they got dealing with the dollar. You want to look at that. Now, if you're a retiree, I want you to for sure stay with me and keep listening. If you're getting close to retirement, I want you to stay with me and keep listening, because Mark Blankenbaker is going to be on with us, and he's with a group called the NIBC, and he's a healthcare consultant. And if you go on Medicare, you know that that's not free. They're going to charge you for that, and they take it out of your Social Security. What if I could tell you a way that maybe you only get half of that taken? The rest of it stays in your account. Well, we're going to talk to Mark about that and about how he can save you money as far as the cost of your health insurance. But that's coming up after the break. We're going to take a break here at the bottom of the hour. It'll be time for us to give you some information about what's happening around the world. But again, for David Fisher, let me tell you to call him again at 844-604-2575. It's 844-604-2575, or visit him online, Landmark Gold. That's one word, landmarkgold.com. So Dave Elswick Show, we're coming up on 8:30. That means it's time for us to find out what's going on around the world, and we'll do that, and then we'll come back and we'll talk about health insurance here in just a moment.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. Quoting President Trump, it's really big news, referring to a primetime address he'll deliver this evening from the White House. The president says the news doesn't get bigger. The speech will focus, at least in part, on election integrity. The United States is stepping up its attacks on Iran, hitting targets farther north. American forces also fired on a ship accused of trying to break the U.S. naval blockade, as the U.S. aims to keep the Strait of Hormuz wide open. Across a wide swath of the northern U.S., it's not only the heat and the humidity, it's the smoke that's making things miserable. Close to 200 wildfires in Canada are making for a smoky haze in the air on this side of the border. On Wall Street, just ahead of the opening bell, stock futures are mixed. Dow futures up, NASDAQ futures down. This is SRN News.
Hey, John, why so glum?
I just got let go. The company's downsizing. This is the third time in the last 2 years. I'm done with this.
Have you thought about My Computer Career? I've heard they can train you for a career in IT in just a few months, including cybersecurity and the basics of AI. And you don't need prior training or experience. Now that's a recession-resistant career.
Wow, thanks. I'll check them out.
Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation. Mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Now there's a new way to take charge of your blood sugar. Introducing new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula from the makers of the nation's best-selling garlic supplement. New Garlic helps maintain healthy blood sugar levels with clinically supported levels of garlic, plus a custom blend of vitamins and minerals, and it's odor-free. Take charge of your blood sugar with new Garlic Healthy Blood Sugar Formula. These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
This great moment in American history is brought to you by
Americans for Prosperity Foundation, Arkansas. Find out more at believeInar.com.
On July 4th, 1776, a group of seemingly ordinary men made an extraordinary decision in a small room in Philadelphia. They put their names to a document that would change the world. The Declaration of Independence wasn't just a breakup letter for King George. It was a bold statement of principle that our rights don't come from government, but from God, that all men are created equal, and that liberty is worth risking everything for. Today, 250 years later, those words still matter, because America isn't just a place, it's an idea. An idea born in courage, sustained by sacrifice, and passed from generation to generation. Celebrating America 250. 101.1 The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-431-2715. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-431-2715. 800-431-2715. 800-431-2715.
The Dave Elswick Show continues now. 101.1 The Answer.
All right, back with you. I'll tell you the rest of that story later, guys. But yeah, that was kind of interesting early this morning. We've got Mook Miller with us. His first name is Mike.
Yeah.
Was it your uncle that was supposed to be here?
It was, yeah.
Okay, and he decided to stand me up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm absolutely kidding about that. And then JD Miller is here as well. He is the marketing manager and healthcare consultant, while Mook is a marketing director, and it's good to have both of these guys on today. If you are getting Social Security, I know that you're about fed up, like I'm fed up, that they pay you your Social Security, and then they tell you that they've taken about, I'm going to say, for me, it's about $300 a month for your Medicare. Now, remember, Medicare is supposed to not cost you anything. Isn't that supposed to be free? Yeah. Isn't that what they say? Yeah. It's supposed to be free? Well, I've got that. Plus, I've got a supplemental because I want some, payback on my medicines and things of that nature. And that's running me about $2.5. Yeah. So I'm well over $500 now a month that you know what, I could use in better ways than just giving it to, the government. So I'm understanding. I was told by Jerry, one of our sales associates here, that he had talked to you all, and you have a way of saving me some money.
Yeah, for certain individuals.
You see my ears?
Yeah.
They grew about 2 inches before you came on. So I'm all ears. You tell me, what's this all about?
Well, yeah, we appreciate you having us on. So for certain individuals, especially veterans like yourself and Mr. Jerry, there's certain programs that we can help you get enrolled into.
All right.
That have what they call a Part B buyback. So Part A of Medicare is free. Part B, unfortunately, you have to pay for, and that's the one they're getting you on. A covers you in the hospital. B covers you everywhere else.
Right.
Veterans that exclusively use the VA get all their prescriptions through the VA. There's certain Medicare Advantage plans that will give you a portion of your Part B premium back. So that's where we've got Mr. Jerry, and that's not the fit for everyone. That's why we're here. We have brokers all across the state that can help you, with your specific needs. So it's not a one shoe fits all, but definitely different programs out there that can help.
Okay, so when somebody calls the NIBC and wants to talk to you guys, what kind of information should they have that they can share with you?
Yeah, absolutely. List of prescriptions, doctors. That's really it. Hospitals, doctors. If you need skilled nursing, that's a big one. Just your basic health information. We don't charge anything for a consultation. If we end up enrolling somebody in a plan, we're compensated by the carrier. So it's, for the most part, our service is free until we get you in a plan.
Yeah, that looks good. I'm all about this, but I just want, maybe if you could start from, the number one and tell us, what we should be looking for. I'm wondering, is this more for people that are retired or for people that are getting ready to retire?
I would definitely say getting ready to retire. The sooner you jump on it. If you're drawing Social Security, if you're already drawing Social Security, you're going to get your Medicare card within 3 months of your 65th birthday.
Right.
If you're not drawing, you've got some legwork to do and you've got some decisions to make. If you're going to keep working, stay on your employer plan. You may want to defer Part B. There's, tons of different scenarios. So I think it's definitely important to have somebody to talk to.
Yeah, sit down and go through your individual situation.
Yeah, Dick Armey, who was the guy who wrote the Contract with America, came here to Little Rock to speak. And I got to know Dick pretty well before that. And he came up to me and he says, "You know what I'm going to talk about today?" And he was really animated. I mean, very animated. And I go, "No, Dick, what are you going to talk to people about?" He says, if you want to take your Social Security, get ready to take Medicare as well, because you can't get your Social Security unless you're on Medicare. That means I got to get up my great health insurance I have through the House of Representatives to be able to get my Social Security that I have coming to me." And he was ticked off.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, he's a congressman. He didn't have a clue this was going to happen to him.
Yeah. There's certain specific rules. It's really based on the number of employees your company has. If you've got fewer than 20, you're required to take Medicare. How the federal government would ever know that, I don't know. But if you have more, you can defer. So if you've got a spouse that's not even close to turning 65 or even Medicare eligible, it may be more advantageous for you to stay on your group plan, defer Part B. So don't pay that Part B premium that they're taking out of your check every month, and stay on that employer plan until you're both 65 or even older if you want to continue working. So all those things come into play. But yeah, by no means do you have to. Certain scenarios will require you to take both Parts A and B of Medicare, but generally speaking, there's ways out of taking Part B if you don't need it.
But at that point, now this is back when Bush was president, all right? And I'm saying to myself, if he's just learning about this, what does the average citizen of this country don't know?
Yeah.
That they're keeping us blind to.
We joke about it all the time. We've got doctors, lawyers, rocket scientists that come to us, and then they don't even know how to sign up for Part B. And it makes me feel really good to say, I'll just,
I'll help you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely. It's confusing. Get a bunch of stuff in the mail, get a stack of mail in your mailbox, and nobody knows what the heck to do with it. So.
I have no idea what most of the stuff that comes to me now that I'm not retired, I'm still working, but once I started getting Social Security, I went on the mailing list of a lot of companies I didn't even know existed.
Oh yeah.
And they're always hitting me up about something. And look, I stayed at a Holiday Inn, so I know a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I'm a dumbass when it comes to this. When I, sitting next to you.
It is.
I don't like to feel that way.
Yeah. Well, there's probably 100 different plans to sort through.
Yeah.
So it's not simple. And that stack of mail, a lot of times on that first meeting with the client, we're sitting there going through it, along with all the doctors, hospitals, prescriptions you take. And that's going to really help us narrow down what's best for you. So like Mook said, there's just a lot that goes into it. But all of our brokers are trained and specialized how to help you sort through that.
Well, that makes sense, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I need to talk to somebody who's, got a PhD in this.
Yeah, it's another language. They throw a bunch of letters and acronyms.
PhD stands for pilot, higher, and deeper, as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, it's just that's the way it is. I mean, the government, controls the books, basically.
Yeah, I talked to a lot of clients about this, and it's interesting. Along with your financial advising, really, probably your Medicare plan that you choose is going to be one of the most important decisions you make as a senior. And we really get no information on it. It's just, hey, you're turning 65, and they start just hitting you with a bunch of info. And yeah, if you're not, trained in this or have not done a lot of homework, it's going to be very, very confusing.
I mean, it's really crazy. I of course, was 67 and a half. I had lived that extra half a year so they could, get me into the Social Security plan. And, and there's a lot of people that go all the way to 70 years old, and they get about $60 extra a month,
Yeah.
I looked at it this way. If I've made it to 67 and a half, I'm looking down the hill. I'm not looking up the hill anymore. So go ahead and give me the money now and let me use it now. So, that's the way it is. But like I said, I got a supplemental. That supplemental, it doesn't stay the same year in, year out. It's always.
Yeah.
And I'm going to capitalize every letter of that. Always going up.
Yeah. Yes, it's, MedSup world is a different world. It's more of the Cadillac plan, though. You pay a one-time premium or maybe don't. There's some old Plan Fs that you pay the premium. You can go to the doctor every day, anywhere you want. Plan G is the new Cadillac MedSup plan, and it's got the Part B deductible. So you pay the deductible, then you essentially have 100% coverage on medically necessary issues after that.
And it doesn't that sometimes include dental and eyes?
No dental, no vision. Does have a gym membership on most of them, but you've got to buy the drug plan outside of that. So the Part D, then you've got to get the dental, then you've got to get the vision. And a lot of people now are asking about hearing aids. So that's a whole other can of worms you got to get into.
Well, I don't expect the government to purchase everything for me.
Yep.
As far as that's concerned, I just expect them to keep their promises to what they told me back when I started working when I was 13.
Yeah.
So I expect to be told what I can expect since I've been giving you this money since I was 13. What am I getting when I, retire? And it's like pulling teeth.
Yeah.
Hen's teeth at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And along with the supplement increase in premiums, your Part B goes up.
Yeah, cost of living, everything.
That money coming out of your social security check's gonna keep going up.
Yep.
Unfortunately. So.
And what they give you, Part A and B by itself it's not great.
No.
Big deductible on Part A. Part B is a $257 deductible. 283 deductible, and then 20% open ended after that. No stop. So $100,000 bill in the hospital, you got 20% of that, and it keeps going.
Yeah.
That caused me to go through bankruptcy.
Exactly. Yeah.
I had open heart surgery, and it caused me to go to bankruptcy.
Wow.
I didn't want to. I'm one of those people that, I want to pay my bills. Well, I paid a lot of bills still when I was going through bankruptcy.
Yep.
But the bottom line is it is the way of the world now.
Yeah. Not knowing misinformation and not knowing information it's costly, unfortunately. So if we can
I
be
just
a
want to know
resource-
how you do it as an individual, like they do it for a business, where a business goes bankrupt and out of business every 2 years. And then appears in front of a judge and judge says, okay, you want to do this, you're going to do, okay, fine, you're good. And lets them go. And that's like, well, that's not the way it worked for me. As far as that was concerned. So when you talk to people about this, do they, I always call it the tile floor syndrome. Your mouth drops open and you start digging up the tile off the floor when you start finding out all this stuff.
Sometimes, yeah. And we just try to simplify it. I mean, it is super confusing. They're throwing letters.
I mean, you've got Medicare A, B, C, D, G, F. I mean, all these different.
Yeah, just a bunch of letters with
and
different amounts associated to these letters. And it's like, what do I do with this?
Yeah.
So, yes, definitely see a lot of mouse on the floor. And then we just try and slow it down. And, you've got 3 buckets really to choose from and kind of use a little system
as
method
best to your situation as you can.
Exactly. What's your income? And then there's different programs for your lower income folks. You've got Medicaid, you've got low income subsidies. There's different programs that you can get to help offset some of these costs. The drugs are a big piece.
Yeah.
And the prescription cost is outrageous. So
yeah. I say that's one of the biggest components is that, and doctors. That, like I mentioned earlier, really narrows down what your probably couple offerings to choose from is going to be. But that's where we do come in and simplify that for the client.
Okay.
Plug the drugs in, you're going to get down to 4 or 5 different plans. And then when you put the doctors, the hospitals, the network together, then you're down to 3, 2.
And then it's just down to benefits. What's more important to you?
Yep.
Okay. So if somebody wants to talk to you about this and they want to get it as simplified as possible, what's the phone number that they should ring up?
501-372-4800. Yeah. Or you can find us online at nibconline.com. But 501-372-4800. And we're located in North Little Rock. So right by the high school. We've got brokers, I want to say 350 to 400 across the state and another 1,000 nationwide. So not just in Arkansas. We say everything that touches us up through the SEC, up to the Carolinas is where we do the most damage. But would love to help anybody and everybody do individual ACA plans, Medicare, group health is a huge one. Small group, large group, that small group sector. If you have a business as small as 2 employees that reside in separate households, we can help you find coverage for your company and your employees. And that's been a big one. The marketplace, these ACA plans have gotten so expensive and the rates go up every year. And I feel like the benefits just aren't getting any better. So seeing a lot more small businesses get into that sector and find a group health plan for them and their employees.
Well, you have a lot of people that, that maybe their agent calls them and says, hey, I got great news for you. You're not going up this year. However, your deductible is going up, as far as that's concerned, which is, if you got to use it, it means that you're going to pay more.
Yeah. And unfortunately, it's been more like, hey, your rate's going up and your benefits are going up. So it's been pretty rough.
Your rates are going up and your benefits are going down.
Exactly. Right. It's been rough.
And it has been, if the government would get out of it, it would sure make things a lot simpler. Let the market rule. But that's not, I'm 73. I'm not holding my breath that they're going to make any big changes before I die. The only change that I see coming up is that I don't believe that they're going to be able to get rid of Social Security. I do believe that they would like to make that happen, but I don't expect it to happen. And, I just expect that I'll be paying more. And then the people who are keeping me in business, so to speak, are going to be paying more. I mean, when this all started, it was like, was it 45 workers to every retiree or person on Social Security? Now it's 1-to-1.
Yeah. It's crazy.
So for all of you who are still working hard, I appreciate that you're helping me out.
Yeah.
At times, because I've helped a whole lot of people out
Yeah.
over the years that I've been working as well. All right, give them that number again.
Yeah. NIBC 501-372-4800. Or NIBC online is our website. Our office is located at 615 West 29th Street in North Little Rock. Feel free to stop by or give us a shout. We'd love to help you.
Yep.
Okay, so Val, can we put that up on my Facebook and things of that nature, so that number will be up there? I mean, being informed is being forearmed, is the way I always looked at it. If you don't know anything about how they're going about deciding how much you have to pay, you're at a decided disadvantage to the people who are in charge. So I want to learn as much as I can. You've already answered some questions for me.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
That's good. You get a lot of people that are retired, and you start telling them that you might be able to save them some money, and suddenly they find out they don't have to pay. Maybe it's $300 a month. Maybe coming out of your Social Security, it's only $125 or something like that.
Yeah.
People get excited, don't they?
Yeah, for sure.
That's a feel-good market too. You know, it doesn't. This isn't a salesy market. We're simply educating people, letting them know what is available to them. There's a lot of plans we sell that don't cost anything. You're paying for it. You paid for it by paying into Social Security, but that Medicare Advantage world, it catches a bad rap because of all the network and dealing with the doctors. A lot of doctors don't like how they have to bill it, but if you can make it work for that individual and all their doctors take it, all their hospitals are in there, a lot of times that premium's $0. So
I know when I talk to my doc, he doesn't like Medicare because the bottom line, look, I get a statement every month and it says how much I've spent of my Medicare. That's what they tell me. And the bottom line is that the medical profession isn't making a lot of money off of Medicare.
Yeah. We see it. There's these network disruptions. You've seen it in the paper. You've seen it on the news. They're going back and forth, fighting over money constantly. So I'll bow out of that conversation. But it's
above your pay grade.
That's absolutely right.
I understand that. All right, it's 8:53. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll wrap it up with Mike and JD here in a moment from NIBC. That phone number again is
501-372-4800.
All right, you need to check it out. We'll be back in just a moment.
Foundations of Freedom, a look at America's founding principles and the leaders who shaped our nation.
Most Americans think of Abraham Lincoln and they think of the Civil War or the Emancipation. But in 1862, he signed another hugely significant piece of legislation, the Homestead Act. It offered eligible Americans up to 160 acres of land, not as a prize for the powerful, but as an opportunity for ordinary families willing to live on it, work it, and build something lasting. Why did it matter? Because Lincoln understood that freedom was not merely the absence of tyranny. Rather, freedom required responsibility, labor, stewardship, and moral courage. A free people must be given room to build, but they also must be willing to cultivate what they have been given. That still matters today. Liberty without responsibility decays. Opportunity without character collapses. Lincoln's lesson is clear. A nation stays free when its people remain willing to work, build, and steward freedom under God.
This is 101.1 The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk. Start your day with Dave Elswick in the morning, breaking down the stories shaping Arkansas and the nation and hearing what you have to say. Then in the afternoon, join Doc Washburn as he takes on the biggest headlines, asks the tough questions, and opens the phones for real conversation. Because on 101.1 The Answer, talk radio means your voice matters. Call in, sound off, be a part of the discussion at 501-401-1011. Plus, hear from some of the biggest names in talk radio. CNN Scott Jennings, Mike Gallagher, Larry Elder, bringing you smart analysis, strong opinions, and the debate everyone's talking about. Local voices, national perspective, and your chance to be heard. 501-401-1011. 101.1 The Answer, where Little Rock comes to talk.
Here's NASCAR Hall of Famer Mark Martin.
As a race car driver for 40 years, I survived a lot of crashes. Not everyone can run into a wall at 200 miles an hour and walk away. Without a seatbelt, I wouldn't be alive today. Now I'm retired, back home in Arkansas driving my pickup. I'm shocked how many people aren't wearing seatbelts. Why risk your life when it only takes 2 seconds to buckle up? Take it from number 6. Buckle up, Arkansas.
A message from the Arkansas State Police Highway Safety Office.
You can watch the show right now. The Dave Elswick Show is streaming live on Facebook. This is 101.1 The Answer.
We're getting to the end of the show here for today. We got about 3 minutes left. So with JD, I want him to talk about, what are some things that people should be looking into, because we're getting up to where, they're going to open the gates again for picking your insurance and stuff.
That's correct. Yeah. So, there's always people turning 65 year round. So, we're always looking to help those.
I'm not. Yeah. That's in my rear view mirror, yeah. Baby.
So those folks, they can reach out anytime if they're getting close to that, because we need to start helping them. But there is a time frame that seniors have a window to pick a new plan if they're not happy, or at least shop it. And so that is October 15th through December 7th for Medicare. So if you're on Medicare Advantage or you have a prescription drug plan, just benefits that you're not happy with, I would encourage you to reach out to our office. We will get you connected to one of our many brokers in the state that's close to you. All of them are, Medicare trained and certified. They know what they're doing. They'll come out to your house if you'd like. A lot of the appointments are belly to belly still these days, but we'll do over the phone if that's, if you're more comfortable with that.
Okay. So it's about 2.5 months away.
Yeah.
It's pretty close.
And and they're going to be getting advertising and calls about it. So it starts early.
If it's the first time for you, you're going to be amazed at how many trees they will kill.
We will help you sort through that stack of trees. Yeah.
And please use somebody local. The call shops are a burden in our market. There's a lot. That's where the misinformation, the incorrect placement comes. If you deal with somebody local, sit down with them at your kitchen table, or at least know where you can find them in your state. Please go that route. These call shops they cause a lot more headaches than they do help.
And don't be fooled. You'll see something on the internet about you want cheaper prices and all of this. And, they ask for your phone number and things of that nature. I will tell you, if you give them that information, within 30 minutes, your phone will start ringing.
Yep. And then likewise, Mook mentioned we do under 65. So if you're not 65 but need health insurance, we do that. Time frame for most people's availability of products start November 15th, and that runs through January 15th. So that's one thing our brokers are very good about is, we have a lot of cases where a spouse is 65 plus, needs Medicare help, but the other spouse is not 65. And we got to, figure out what works best for them. Most of our brokers do both types of health insurance. So we can help out in those scenarios as well.
Okay. Remember the old saying, forewarned is forearmed.
Yep.
Keep that in mind. And Moog, why don't you give them that phone number for the NIBC again?
Yeah, 501-372-4800. You'll talk to Kristen or Jody up front, and they will get you hooked up with somebody local to you, and we'll hopefully get you some help.
All right. That'll wrap it up for the Dave Elswick Show this Thursday. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock on the radio.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having us.
Find us at 1011fmtheanswer.com. Download our app, stream us 24/7, or watch us at snc.tv. KDXE, Cabot Village, Little Rock.
Breaking news this hour from Town Hall. I'm Rich Thomason. Quoting President Trump, it's really big news, referring to a primetime address he will deliver tonight from the White House. The president says the news doesn't get bigger. The speech will focus at least partially on election integrity.
The president has long insisted he won the 2020 presidential race. This comes even though the very people Mr. Trump appointed to oversee it say the vote count was accurate and he lost. This term, Mr. Trump has appointed people who support him on this issue. He's also launched a review of the 2020 voting.
Correspondent Andrew Stewart says the president may address reports of foreign interference in the 2020 election. The U.S. stepping up its attacks on Iran, hitting targets farther north. American forces also fired on a ship accused of trying to break the U.S. naval blockade. The U.S. aims to keep the Strait of Hormuz wide open.
The U.S. says it's targeting Iran's ability to threaten shipping in the waterway. In this latest round of strikes, Iranian media reported that a children's cancer hospital was evacuated after several missiles landed nearby. Washington has also reimposed a naval blockade on Iran and said it disabled an empty oil tanker that ignored warnings by firing into its smokestack. There was some positive news, though. The Iranians freed an American citizen they'd prevented from leaving the country, what President Trump called a gesture of goodwill.
The BBC's Barbara Plett-Usher. Retail sales continued rising last month, just not as much as in May. The Commerce Department reports that sales rose 0.2% in June. That followed May's 1% increase. Across a wide swath of the northern U.S., not only heat and humidity, it's smoke. It's making